The next step, and this, I think this would make some consultants and psychologists and coaches great versus you got a feedback and you're off.
Yeah.
Is that research has shown now over and over again that we can reflect all we want, but if we don't make it actionable, nothing changes.
Yeah, now you open up a can of worms. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges to all of these systems, and you kind of referred to it. We referred to it beforehand. If you use this model, but you don't use it, if you just use it to do a survey once and then don't follow up on it or do anything with it, it has marginal value. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe not that everybody's going to understand it right away. Maybe we should go to the second wheel, which is, I think, more indicative and we can get more out of, which is the end profile. Let's also kind of roll this out here. Now, in this case, there is a mean, correct?
Yes.
So
yes. Now there is an average there.
Okay.
There is a comparison.
Explain to us why there is a mean and you've mentioned it a couple times, these focus groups, I think you call them, that you have. Because I think that's a unique selling proposition that your company offers. Okay. So maybe explain the bell curve, and then we'll get to the norm groups.
Yeah. All psychometric tools should have a comparison group to some degree or other. So you could argue that the P.A.P.I ipsative does not have psychometric properties to be called a psychometric tool. It is a self-insightful tool. What's important to you or not? So the typical interest questionnaires as well, typically used for career assessment, interest coaching. That's fine, and it's very useful for that. But when it comes to psychometric properties, there are a few things that I need to check in the 4 things that I've mentioned in the beginning: validity, reliability, fairness, and non-bias. And you can only do that with a comparison group. So I want to know, A, what are your preferences? And B, what are your preferences if I compare you to a comparison group that is linked to your level? So if you are at director level, I'm going to use a norm group that has directors in it.
So let's make it simple.
Career, then it's going to be that norm group.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you know what a DAO is? DAO is an IT word that stands for the dumbest assumed user. And I always say that we consultants are master DAOs. So we ask all the stupid questions that nobody dares to ask. And one of the questions I would ask is just up front, what is the test group that both the ipsative and the nominative have been exposed to? Are we talking 100, 1,000, 10,000? How many people? How many tests? Or what's the population of your test group?
Our test groups and our norm groups are very big. So our global norm group is over 100,000 strong. Okay. So it's huge.
Yeah.
The bigger norm group, the better.
So that's the big population. But then the brilliant thing that you do, and I don't want our losers to miss this, right? Is you say, well, I might say, but I'm a consultant. Or who are you comparing me? Are you comparing me to a mechanic? Or I'm a CEO. Who are you comparing me to? Are you comparing me to the accountant or the salesperson? Those are different personalities. You can't put me into the same bucket or into the same boat. So what you do is when you have people take the test, they have to say what level of management they're in, what their focus is. And with that capability you have of these hundreds of thousands of people that have taken the test, you have sub-norm groups so that I can compare myself to other consultants, for example, or an IT director can compare himself to or herself to another IT director in that case. Or you can do it by region, by country, right?
Yeah, we go a little bit broader. We don't go job-based specifically because each country IT is different.
Okay.
So coming from Africa, trust me, there's huge differences between countries, and you yourself have traveled and lived in different countries. So it's more country-based, so it's more culture-based, which is also part of something that we have to prove to make it psychometric. And complexity level based. So at what range or rank, dare I say rank, in the organization do you sit?
But the benefit of this is you increase your validity this way as well for the people who are looking at
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.